Welcome back to Hidden Mysteries. Imagine flying alone over the dark waters of Australia. You look outside your cockpit and notice something strange in the sky. You contact air traffic control. You describe what you're seeing. And then, you suddenly disappear. No confirmed crash, no confirmed wreckage, no confirmed explanation. This is the mysterious story of Frederick Valentich, the young pilot whose aircraft vanished over the Bass Strait in 1978. And more than 4 decades later, the question remains, what happened to flight VHDSJ on October 21st, 1978? Frederick Valentich was 20 years old. He was an Australian pilot who had been flying for several years and was working toward obtaining his commercial pilot's license. That evening, Valentich planned to fly from Melbourne's Moorabbin Airport to King Island, located in the Bass Strait between mainland Australia and Tasmania. He was flying a single-engine Cessna 182L. The aircraft was small but reliable. The flight itself was not expected to be extraordinary. Valentich departed Moorabbin shortly after 6 o'clock in the evening. The sun was beginning to disappear. Darkness was approaching. And somewhere over the Bass Strait, something happened. At approximately 7 p.m., Valentich contacted Melbourne Flight Service. At first, the conversation was routine. But then Valentich reported seeing another aircraft. The flight service officer asked him to identify the aircraft. Valentich couldn't. He said that he could see a strange object above him. According to the radio transcript, Valentich described it as having 4 bright lights. He also said it appeared to be moving at high speed. The controller asked him if the object was approaching him. Valentich replied that it appeared to be stationary. Then it began moving. Valentich became increasingly concerned. He tried to describe what he was seeing. But there was a problem. The object did not behave like a normal aircraft. The conversation became stranger. Valentich reported that the object was moving around his aircraft. He described seeing a large metallic-looking object with what he believed were green lights. The controller continued asking questions. Was it a military aircraft? Was it another civilian aircraft? Could Valentich identify its type? He couldn't. Then Valentich said something that would become one of the most famous lines in Australian aviation mystery. He reported that the object was coming toward him. The controller asked him to confirm his altitude. Valentich responded. Then suddenly, his voice became confused. He said the object appeared to be playing some kind of game. Moments later, he reported that it was now directly above him. And then came the final words. Valentich said, "It's not an aircraft." A few seconds later, the transmission ended. The radio remained open briefly, but there was no further conversation. Then, silence. Valentich's aircraft was supposed to continue toward King Island, but it never arrived. Air traffic controllers immediately realized something was wrong. A search operation began. Aircraft and boats were sent into the Bass Strait. Rescuers searched the area where Valentich's final radio transmission had been received. But there was a major problem. There was no obvious crash site. No aircraft was found. No body was recovered. No confirmed debris was discovered. The Cessna had simply disappeared. Frederick Valentich was missing. And so was his aircraft. For days, search crews continued looking across the Bass Strait. The Australian authorities searched thousands of square kilometers. Aircraft flew over the ocean. Boats searched the water, but nothing definitive was found. Eventually, the official search was called off. Valentich's family was left without answers. What had happened to him? Had his aircraft crashed into the ocean? Had he become disoriented? Had he suffered some kind of mechanical failure? Or had he encountered something that he could not explain? There was no evidence that could conclusively answer those questions. The case became even more mysterious because of a photograph taken around the same time. A man named Roy Manifold had been photographing the coastline near Cape Otway. He was testing a camera with a telephoto lens. During the sequence of photographs, one image appeared to show a strange object in the sky. It looked like a dark, elongated shape surrounded by a cloud of vapor or smoke. Some people believe the object could have been connected to Valentich's disappearance. The photograph attracted enormous attention, but investigators could not conclusively prove that the object was Valentich's aircraft. It could have been something else entirely. The photograph remains one of the most intriguing pieces of material associated with the case, because Valentich had reported a strange object shortly before disappearing. The UFO theory quickly became part of the story. Some researchers argued that Valentich may have encountered an unidentified flying object. Some witnesses later claimed to have seen strange lights in the sky around the area. Others suggested that Valentich's aircraft might have been intercepted or somehow taken by an unknown craft. But there is an important distinction. There is no confirmed evidence proving that an extraterrestrial spacecraft was involved. The UFO theory remains a theory, not a proven explanation, and investigators have also considered much more conventional possibilities. One possibility is that Valentich became disoriented. Flying over the ocean at night can be extremely difficult. Without reliable visual references, pilots can sometimes lose their sense of direction or altitude. Another possibility is mechanical failure. A problem with the aircraft could have caused a sudden loss of control. There is also the possibility that Valentich misunderstood what he was seeing. The strange object he reported could potentially have been another aircraft, a natural phenomenon, or something else that was difficult to identify in the darkness. But there is one major problem with every theory. The aircraft was never found. Without the wreckage, investigators have very little physical evidence to work with. Then there is the question that keeps the mystery alive. If Valentich simply crashed into the Bass Strait, where is the aircraft? The ocean is enormous. The Bass Strait contains deep waters, strong currents, and difficult conditions. It is possible that an aircraft could disappear beneath the surface and remain undiscovered. But because no definitive wreckage was recovered, the mystery never received a satisfying ending. The official record could not provide a clear explanation for what happened during those final moments. More than 40 years have passed since Frederick Valentich took off from Moorabbin Airport. He was only 20 years old. His flight should have been an ordinary evening journey. Instead, it became one of Australia's most famous aviation mysteries. A young pilot reported seeing something strange. He spoke with air traffic control. He described an object following his aircraft. And then, he disappeared. No confirmed wreckage, no confirmed explanation, no final answer. Today, people continue to debate what happened. Was it a tragic aviation accident? Was Valentich disoriented? Did an unknown object play a role? Or is there another explanation that investigators have simply never discovered? We may never know. But perhaps that's what makes the case so haunting. Because somewhere beneath the waters of the Bass Strait, there may still be evidence waiting to be found. And until that evidence is discovered, the lost flight of Frederick Valentich remains one of Australia's greatest unsolved mysteries. This is Hidden Mysteries. If you enjoy mysterious disappearances, unexplained events, and true stories that still have no answers, subscribe to the channel, because sometimes the truth isn't lost. It's simply waiting to be discovered.